Hello, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, at the dawn of my childhood, a very special thing happened. I got to see Star Wars in the 1970s. I'm one of the original generation of Star Wars film goers. So I got to see the original trilogy in the cinema on its release. I was very, very young when the first Star Wars movie came out. And I've been an avid Star Wars fan ever since. Like most people, I found of my generation, I found the prequels quite disappointing, but they had some good things. I didn't write them off as complete rubbish, but they were not the best pieces of science fiction writing on the planet. I very much enjoyed Rogue One. The sequels, not so much. And then we've had a variety of spin-offs, including a Han Solo movie and now TV shows. The first of which was, I want to say, The Mandalorian. We've had Obi-Wan, we've had Boba Fett, we've had Ahsoka, and now we have the Acolyte. So I'm going to do a review of the first two episodes. This isn't going to be a mega long stream. So it's not a panel stream or anything, but I did mention I was going to do this review yesterday, and my man in the States said, "Hey,
sure, why not?
I'm just arriving back from my Uber job at that time,
Yeah,
so I'd love to pop on."
fresh out the store. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I saw one episode last night, and I saw one episode this morning. I was kind of like, normally I like to watch stuff straight away again to see things that I missed.
Definitely.
But I don't really think I didn't feel the need to do that with this show. So let's talk about it. Okay, so the basic premise of the show, we're gonna break this down in the same categories we break down Band of Brothers. The basic premise of the show is it's set some 90 years, give or take.
I pulled up the opening crawl. The opening crawl says 100 years. 100 years before the rise of the Empire.
100 years before the rise of the Empire. It's a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. So probably about 90 years before the prequels, I would say.
Yeah, and right there you go.
The dark corners of the galaxy. Are there any corners of the galaxy that aren't dark? A powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. Okay.
That's the start. Which to me, off the bat, you know what that is, Lance? That's a segue, because everyone who's watched Star Wars knows there's a little green character that's hundreds, 700, 800 years old. So at some point, that's a good way to get a cheap cameo in for certain little green characters. We all know.
Yeah. Yeah. I straight off the bat, if you're going to do titles at the beginning of a Star Wars show, do the space crawl. It's kind of a Star Wars tradition. I would do a space crawl. I know that they didn't do that for the sequels movies, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm pretty sure, like, and remember, there's also Andor too. You left out, so there's Andor.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't done them for every show, but there aren't titles at the beginning of all of the shows.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a mistake to leave the space crawl off of the sequels.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have titles, I'd quite like to have the space crawl, because I just think it's very Star Wars. It says Star Wars.
There's certain brands out there, certain sound effects you hear, like lightsabers got the and you hear like the space. Whatever you hear, like, you know, the dance.
It's part of the brand image, don't you know?
For better and for worse.
So, okay, that's a minor criticism. Titles, whatever, fine. All right, so yeah, so the basic premise is it's set between 90 to 100 years before the events of the prequels, in a different part of generally in a far off part of the universe. We do see Coruscant, and of course we see it. It's also mentioned. It's part of the story. but as usual, we're in planets that are further away.
Yeah.
And somebody is tracking down and murdering Jedi members.
Yeah.
The opening scene of episode 1
Is our Jedi or our
the assassination of a Jedi
Carrie
by
Ann
this
Moss?
character who is played by Amanda Stenberg. Good actress. I like her. I think she's very talented. And she's we'll get on to that. I'll just give an overview of the story.
Yeah.
We know straight away that she is the villain of the piece, but pretty soon we're introduced to her again. And straight away I was saying in my head, well, this has to be her twin sister because this is not evil Amanda Stenberg. And sure enough, it turns out her character does have a twin sister. I'm going to skip past some of these images because they're not in episodes 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So this is the villain. And then I'm pretty sure that the girl with the white head and the little devil horns is going to turn out to be the love interest.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann Moss plays the Jedi who is murdered in the opening scene. It's an interesting scene that felt very much like it was out of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you've 100%. Ever seen, yeah, totally out of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This is kind of from that sequence. It's an okay scene. I was kind of invested in that scene. It was kind of exciting. And then that sets up the plot. Jedi are being murdered, which is unheard of at this time, especially as peace has reigned and all those kinds of things. And so we know that this girl is behind it. We know that there's someone behind her. And some people are sent out, some Jedi members, a sort of little team, including these two characters, are sent out to arrest her. But instead of arresting her, they arrest her twin sister, who is not the person who commits the murder. And the person that they're after is still at large. And she has force powers, and she's being taught by somebody. She's actually way more skillful than her sister. There's a background story which by the end of episode 2 we know that back on their homeworld when they were young, and we see them when they were younger in some flashbacks, there were 4 Jedi that were stationed on their planet. There was a big fire. The fire killed their parents. The fire is said to have been started by the evil sister, apparently. I don't actually buy that, by the way.
Oh, her name is May. M-A-E, May.
May, thank you. Yeah, May. And the good one is called...
I'm looking, I keep forgetting. Right now.
It's not a good sign that I can't remember the
main
name, is it?
May's like Ray, that's why I remember that.
Yeah, May is the baddie. Well, you know, there's bad Amandala and good Amandala, basically. Two sisters. One is good, the other one's evil. Okay. And May is supposedly the evil one. And she's taking revenge on these Jedi that were stationed at the planet. We don't quite know why. Osha, thank you. So Leroy's in the chat. Osha is the name of the good one. There we go.
Osha.
I've forgotten her name already.
Boy.
Okay. So the twist, well, not the twist, but the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1 is we cut to a distant shot of somebody on a rock. Now, hang on. Was that the end of episode 1 or was that the end of episode 2?
I'll put up in a second. That's in episode 1.
End of episode 1. We cut to a shadowy figure. She's actually looking at him now, he or she. I mean, I assume it's a he because they've got a kind of a gruff male voice.
Yeah.
And they've got a red lightsaber, which indicates they're bad. And it's like, you have done well. That kind of thing. Some sort of dialogue like that. In the meantime, Osha has been arrested. And for completely stupid reasons, she's put on a prison ship that is basically It's got a completely robot crew, and the Jedi who have been sent to capture her don't deliver her back to Coruscant. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. They put her on a robot ship. There's some prisoners on the robot ship who are planning a breakout. They break out. They take the escape pods. They leave her. She manages to get out. She tries to rescue a prisoner that's sort of stranded. That stranded prisoner takes the other escape pod, leaves her. She crashes on the planet. Eventually, she's recovered. The team that have come to arrest her find her again, as does her old Jedi master. They take her back to they take her on the mission with them to find May, the bad sister, and that takes us into episode 2, where they prepare an ambush, which kind of goes wrong. We're introduced to this other character who's this kind of spice dealer guy, which is all, again, that's a bit of a plot contrivance, which I'll come back to. Yes, stuff happens. Was there an action scene in the second episode?
I'll pull up in a second.
I can't remember it.
Well, I think probably the best part of the action scene episode 2 is the opening, because May tries to kill a Jedi Master. Remember, he's meditating and she can't.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. I like that.
That was the best scene in the episode.
Yeah, and she can't attack him, but then she comes back with a poison, puts it in front of him, and says, "Here's a poison for you.
Drink it.
You should take it because you did a bad thing." Right, and so on. And this is our suspicious silhouette of Darth Maul type character. Does look a bit like Darth Maul. This is the Jedi Academy. No young white boys allowed. And I'm not joking when I say that, apparently.
Of course,
so
attack me with all your strength.
Well, I did look, and there aren't any in any of the images, in any of the footage in the episode, and I really looked.
I got the scene up land, so I killed the sound.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean,
yeah, that's I mean, this is really well done. It's really well shot. So, but oh man, this show's got a ton of problems.
Best part of the entire episode.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk about the things I like about it first. I like Amandala. She's a good actress. And she handles the two different parts pretty well. I personally think that plot line is nonsense, but there's all kinds of problems with it. But she's good. Carrie-Anne Moss was great. It's kind of a nothing role, but I like the fact that she's in this. It seems like she's being set up for a big role. We are going to get into some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it yet, just warning you about that now. So when she's killed, that is a bit of a shock. Yeah, I mean, what else did I like about it? I did not like the special effects. Some of the special effects are okay, but I did not like the special effects. They're filming in that, what do they call it? The donut or whatever it's called, the rotunda thing, the 360 effects house thing. And they're filming in that. And the bottom line is when you're shooting in that, you can tell when you're filming in that, everything looks very stale. Everything looks very, just kind of, it's got that kind of bland, horrible sheen. It's not a set that's got proper lighting. It's digital. It just looks a bit naff.
I'd pull this up.
The Wookiee is
guys. Apparently, guys, Wookiees now can use the Force, which I mean, okay. I mean,
there could be a Wookiee Jedi. I don't mind.
I'm just saying,
Jedi can be anywhere.
I just thought it was funny because we've never seen it before, so I'm like, all right.
But some of the special effects are good. When they're not in that stuff, the stuff in spaceship interiors are good. Some of that stuff, but it's the outside stuff when she's like walking onto a planet or arriving at the entrance of a city or whatever, and Vex not pulling her punches. Star Wars blows. You can't be talking about Star Wars collectively. Yeah. In terms of the other cast, apart from Carrie-Anne Moss's cameo,
Yeah, that's what you mean. Like, I'll pull up a set design.
No one else that like blew me away. There are cast in it who are adequate, but there was no one who blew me, who I was really invested in. So Lee Jung Jae, who plays her mentor.
Yeah, he is
He's okay.
Soul,
but
S-O-L.
S-O-L?
Yep, Soul, what's his name? Soul.
Soul. Yeah. He plays Soul. He's okay, but you know, he's fine, but I feel like an actor with bigger and more experienced acting chops should have been in that role. We haven't met these people yet, so I'm not going to comment on them.
Yeah.
Dafine Keen as she's kind of like an acolyte herself. She's in training. She's fine. Again, she hasn't really been given much to do. Charlie Bennett feels like he stepped out of 90210. Beverly Hills Jedi School, 90210.
Well, plus he's shirtless too.
Yeah, got his shirt off. You know, it just was. Yeah. So I just, again, he was okay, but it just, you know, I like to see some good acting chops. Well, we've seen 5 seconds of the Wookiee, so I can't really comment on him.
Yeah, Lance, from episode 1, I pulled up a shot right there when they're inside the cave. And like you're saying, some of the sets are questionable, I would say. Like right here, this, I don't know. I'm not sure how to describe this, but like that just seems, I don't.
Yeah, well, parts of that are not really, yeah, the interiors of the spaceships I thought were fine.
Yeah.
But everything else was really kind of, you know, mediocre. You've got those standard streets that just keep getting redressed. For whatever Star Wars planet we're on this week, kind of thing. You know, you've seen those streets in however many other Star Wars shows.
Yeah. Street shots.
So
yeah, it's mostly episode 2. Okay.
Yeah. So focusing on, yeah. Okay. Let's. What were the things you liked about it?
Well, I mean, the problem is like concepts. Like, you know, I think concepts are. It's one thing having a good concept versus execution. Like, for instance, like May at one point, she's talking to, or sorry, her sister, Osha. She's talking to her mentor about, you know, I want to go fight May. And he goes, what you want is revenge, not justice. That's not the Jedi way. Which that's a good concept. They didn't create it, but you know, revenge isn't something because it leads down to the dark side. The concept in episode 1 of Carrie-Anne Moss fighting her without her lightsaber, eventually she pulls it out, but some people were mad about a Jedi fighting hand in hand. You know, Obi-Wan does in episode 2, Ahsoka during the Clone Wars fought without her lightsaber. You know, if they're going to be these trained assassins or trained protectors, there will be situations where you would have to use hand-to-hand combat. I think, of course, the execution is poor because if someone pulls out a weapon, you're going to use your lightsaber. But like, it would be interesting showing kids training, or like, okay, my Jedi is like lightsaberless. I mean, like the Jedi are samurais. I'm sure some samurais would have had to fight for, you know, to an extent without their samurai swords. I'm not against Jedi's fighting in hand-to-hand combat, but often the way they do it, it's like especially when the character May, she's like, attack me with everything you have. Okay, well, lightsaber's part of your arsenal. And you have, like you said, it's kind of too crouching tiger.
It was,
you know,
it was quite clear. Okay, well, that's an issue. That's not a thing that you liked. What did you like about the show? What are the positives?
Jeez,
I know it's very easy to stray away from them into, but hang on, I got an issue with this bit.
I mean, I don't know. It was.
What did you? How about Amanda Stenberg's acting?
I think some of the acting was okay, but I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I feel like I didn't like a lot, Lance. I'm not saying I'm dumping on it, but it feels like just a lot of great ideas, but just not good concepts. I couldn't say what I liked, even like I said, I guess the choreography for the hand-to-hand combat scenes were good, but you only get like 2 of them, you know?
It did feel to me like the whole show suffered from the lack of an experienced Star Wars producer
Like right
saying,
here.
putting their hand up and saying, no, we can't have that
Yeah.
because, and I think it was a bit of a case of you can do what you want.
It's like right,
Yeah,
as a concept, this is, that's good fight choreography for 2 Jedis or 2, Force users, but it kind of in some ways drags on too long because again, it's just like, if it attack me with everything you have and I want to fight you and just, I don't know. It's like, I'm not against sometimes, but they should be also using their lightsabers more, which also been a lot of issues with the sequels and Disney so far is that,
I mean, yeah, I speaking for myself, I'd be quite happy to see a Star Wars show with no lightsabers, no Jedi in it at all. And we almost got that with Mando and Boba Fett, but then both of those strayed into other realms.
yeah.
So we didn't really get that because, but okay, we're going back to the time when the Jedi are around. So let's focus on what we have.
Yeah.
If you're being attacked and the person is trying to kill you, then I agree. Deploying lightsaber a bit faster,
Yeah.
definitely would happen. Just also this kind of martial arts vibe. Although Jedi very much are kind of fighting space monks. That's basically what they are.
Yeah.
Kind of they're fighting space monks combined with a sheriff, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that line in the prequels. It's a bad line, but it made everybody cringe in the cinema. I'll never forget it. Jedi business. Jedi business, and I think it's Hayden Christian that says it.
Yeah. But even like Sam Jackson, Mace Windu says, part episode 3, why they're losing for? Like, you have the Jedis to defeat the clone troopers. He goes, no, we're keepers of the peace. We're not soldiers. They are powerful, but they're not infallible. They do have limits.
Andor had no Jedi lightsabers. Yeah, I know. That's why it was good. So I guess, I mean, obviously this is set at the height of the Jedi's power. So fine, Jedi lightsabers, all good. But it feels like somebody said, can we make them do ninja stuff? And I just don't know if that's a good call. I kind of like the fact that she's doing all this shit and these people are actually really hard to kill.
Yes.
But then it's like, if a guy's just going to like wake up and hear you and take the poison that you put in front of him, that whole thing was proper naff. I just didn't. Now, okay, I'm going to chuck out a couple of theories here. My theory is that these 4 Jedi are actually responsible for the fire that killed these girls' parents.
It seems weird. That's where they're
I
going.
I don't think either of the girls are responsible, including May. But I think May either believes that the Jedi are responsible for killing her parents, or she did something which she blames the Jedi for, which led to the death of her parents. And obviously, that hate, that revenge, is being fed off by whoever the evil person is, the Sith.
Yeah,
the Sith character. I guess this is the dawn of the Sith. In fact, the dawn of the Sith would have been a great title. But this is kind of like the dawn of Sith training. It's like, always 2 there are, so
well, yeah, because if you look at episode 1 when she first attacks Carrie-Anne Moss, she's like, well, attack me. She's like, well, Jedi don't attack unarmed people. She goes, that's not true. So so in May's mind, she hates them because she blames them for what happened.
Yeah, she definitely blames them for what happened, and these 4 people are on a list. These are the 4 people that were there, and she's taken them out for a reason. So that guy in that meditation state is presumably meditating to find peace over some sort of crime that he committed, which is to do with the death of the parents. So I'm guessing that's why he willingly decided to top himself. Even though now we're probably going to see a flashback that justifies that action later, which probably won't make it seem so silly. But at the minute, it felt a bit naff. There's just a lot of like other little things that bugged me. For example, like when they're rushing to get to save that Jedi Master bit, and that guy feels like, oh, he's been poisoned. I can tell. I can feel it. It's in the Force. And then Amanda Osha, the good sister, goes a different route. She's actually followed by the young Beverly Hills 90210 Jedi. And she gets there first. How is it that the route that she's going is faster when the others are already going via the fastest route to get there?
She's faster.
That makes absolutely no sense. Why, if they're already saying there's danger. We've got to go and see him right now. He's in danger. Oh, okay, we'll take you the long way round. That makes no sense. That's a plot contrivance that is bollocks. It's really poor writing. So that's one of the ones that I've got, and there are more. There was a similar one to that in the first episode as well. That I'll do this because it sort of works with this script that we have, but that makes no sense. There's a lot of that going on. It's also got some really terrible dialogue, this show.
Yes, definitely.
No, that's nonsense, Leroy. What I expect is a good script from a qualified writer who's understands narrative and story writing. That's just bollocks. There's no reason. If she's going to get there first, there needs to have been there's a secret route to get to that chamber that she knows about because someone's already told her about it. And then there's the normal route to get there, which not everyone knows about. Instead, she just gets there faster when the other people who actually live and work in the temple, and she doesn't do that, are taking the long way round when they know it's urgent. That's number one. Number two, the Jedi are sent on this mission to recover a person who's murdered a Jedi. The murder of a Jedi is a massive thing. It's a big crime, right? In the Star Wars universe, it's a big crime in the universe that we're presented with. They capture the person that they think is responsible, Osha, and instead of bringing them back to Coruscant. Personally, they put this person, who they believe, by the way, to possibly be a Jedi, because they know that she was previously a Jedi in training. They put her on a prison ship manned by a robot crew, bearing in mind that someone who could use the Force could manipulate robots, droids, with no human crew.
Iron Man,
that is absolute nonsense. That's utter bullshit. It makes no sense in the plot. It makes no sense in the story. The characters wouldn't do it. It's established that character, Jason Priestley Jedi, we'll call him. It's established that he's trying to impress. He's trying to be. He thinks he's pretty good. That is such a fundamental, no mistake. And it's almost like somebody pointed this out to the writing team.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, well, we'll have him apologize for it later." He's actually got this line later where he goes, I'm sorry, Master. I shouldn't have unaccompanied her back. What were you doing? Were you on holiday? Did you go off to the beach? Why you sent her back on the droid ship that could have been easily attacked by whoever? That makes no sense in the scenario you've presented us with. It makes no sense.
Yeah, not to mention he also tells he tells Osha that's like
I'm not taking it personal. I'm breaking it down and critiquing it, which is better than it deserves, frankly.
Well, when he hops into the ship to talk to her, first thing she goes, "Oh, so you passed the trials?" He goes, "Yeah, now I'm a knight." He's like, "I graduated." So now he's not even a Padawan. So Jedi Knights, that title, it's still Jedi Knight's a pretty good upgrade and promotion. So you still are a seasoned. You shouldn't be making these are rookie Padawan mistakes.
He states that his mission is to go and get the woman and bring her back, but he doesn't. He goes and puts her on a. It's not even a ship that's got humans on it. It's a ship it's a droid prison ship with robots and it's a pretty when you see it, and I quite like it as a concept, but just not in the way it was used. Yeah. It's got pretty naff security on it, to say the least. So it's like, it's almost a bit like, yes, Mr. Bond, well, I'm going to show you around my secret base and show you my secret plan, and then I'm going to put you on this prison ship and you'll escape.
Expect you to die.
What should have happened is that they should have escorted her. That ship should have either got attacked or it could have been hit in that asteroid field.
Yeah.
They had to get to the escape pods. For whatever reason, she wasn't able to get to one, and then the prisoners broke out. There's a fight with the Jedi and the prisoners, and it all goes to shit. And that could have been actually really exciting. It was just bollocks. By the way, there's an actor in that called Paul. I forget his name. He plays one of the convicts.
Okay.
He's the one that's talking to her through the bars. I've met him.
Wow.
And I have a feeling, by the way, that this was all shot in the UK.
Look up.
Paul Bullion. His name is, and he was, he's one of the. Oh no, not Paul Bullion. Sorry. I think his name is Paul, or is it Thomas Coombs? Sorry, it's Thomas Coombs.
Oh, so Lance, this is actually the Acolyte is the first Star Wars universe show to be shot in Wales.
Right, in Wales.
Oh.
So I don't know if they've got one of those donut things in Wales, do they?
And you ever heard of this as a Brecon Beacons National Park was the forest scenes.
Right. Okay. Right. Brecon Beacons, yeah. Hey, Bo, good to see you, mate. Hostman, how are you?
Oh, sorry, I just shared this because
we're breaking it down now.
I mean, this is just my favorite part of episode 1 because for most part, this is Carrie-Anne Moss still kind of has it, and that's good choreography for what they're going for. But that's the best parts I could say about it. And
you know what? I thought it was a completely different. I thought it was this Irish actress who looks a bit like Carrie-Anne Moss.
And also,
go on.
I was saying, the whole okay, she's dead. They have been flooding for number one, Carrie-Anne Moss over the posters and trailers and premieres. She's arguably the most A-list actor. I don't think for a second she's dead.
Well, I completely avoided all trailers, and I didn't want to know anything about the show going in. I think I saw the very, very early trailer that they released, and that trailer wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't want to watch anything else because I don't want to. I want to go into this, with a positive mindset because I was fully prepared that it might have been really good. And there are, listen, I don't want to be a complete Debbie Downer. There are some things about it that are quite good. That the fight choreography basically depends whether you want, crouching Jabba, leaping Wookiee as your kind of Star Wars content. Some people will be up for that. Will be up for a bit of chop socky in the Star Wars universe. I'm kind of neither here nor there. I can take that or leave that. I'm not dead against it, but at least it does look good. The choreography of the fighting is nice.
Yeah.
But the plot contrivances in this are dreadful. Now, I previously mentioned on another stream that, and I wasn't talking about. I was talking about in general, people getting jobs too quickly, like somebody who did episodes of Top Boy and then basically got handed a Marvel film, and that's a massive leap. Leslie Headland, regardless of what one may think of her or what one may think of the Acolyte, started directing and working as a producer on The Bachelorette in 2012. She's got 16 directing credits to date. She was the executive producer of Single Drunk Female. She executive producer of Russian Doll, which is actually a show that I really like. She also directed some episodes of Single Drunk Female, 2 of those. She directed 4 episodes of Russian Doll, 4 episodes of Heather's TV show, which I haven't seen, 2 episodes of Black Monday, which is a massively underrated show that most people have not seen or certainly don't talk about. And then she's done a couple of other bits and pieces here and there, like Blunt Talk and Almost Family and whatnot. So do I think she's got enough credits to direct an episode of Star Wars? Absolutely. She's got enough. Do I think she should have been carte blanche writer, director, and an executive producer of her own Star Wars show? When you look at the history of Star Wars and you ask, where's it gone really badly wrong before? I can go back to the example of the second Star Wars sequel film.
Last Jedi.
Yeah. The one that was directed by, what's his name, who did Brick?
Wil Johnson.
Wil Johnson. Right, thank you. And that's a prime example of, he was, as I understand it, and I believe this has been confirmed, you would have thought that everyone at Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, etc., the key people that were overseeing this beloved IP would have sat down and said, okay, we're doing 3 new films. We've got Harrison and Carrie and
Mark
Hamill on board, you know. We've got this person as Lando's coming back and so on. This is the plot outline for the 3 films. It's going to start with this. This is going to happen in the middle. And we're going to end up here. That's not what happened. What happened was they did the first film, and because I think they weren't sure how it was going to do financially. I mean, It's Star Wars. It's not going to do badly, is it, at that point?
No.
Because people were begging for a new Star Wars movie because the prequels have been kind of largely forgotten by then.
Yeah.
And but there was none of that. There was like, we'll make the first one, then we'll see what happens. And then Rian Johnson came on, and they just said, do what you want.
Yep.
Do what you want with it, you know. And I was like, what kind of plan is that? What this? Hang on a minute. This is a trilogy. You can't just tell some guy coming in, do what you want. You've got everything set up from the last one. You've got to have, well, this has got to happen. We want to see this. We want to see this, and this is going to happen. You know. But around those elements, you do your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have expected, if I was coming in to direct a new Star Wars movie, I probably would have expected an extremely rigid script that had been gone over by dozens of people, where I probably wouldn't be allowed to make any changes to the dialogue or story whatsoever, but I just got to direct it. So I just feel like there's no one on this show who's going, hang on a minute, if this guy's been given this mission to go and get this Jedi, and he's captured the Jedi who is considered right now to be the #1 murder suspect of a very high-ranking Jedi, therefore an extremely dangerous criminal, possibly the most dangerous criminal in the universe right now, why are we packing them on a droid ship and hoping they get home okay? Why are we not going with them? That's a massive plot flaw right from the get-go that makes no sense.
No, you're right. But well, that's also the problem too. We have a lot of times is people, what they're doing is like Rian Johnson came out and said that I didn't like The Empire Strikes Back, and everyone's like, wait, what would you say, dude? Considering widely regarded as the best film out of all 6, and yeah, I didn't like that one, and I'm gonna do what I want, and like, whoa, that's not, kind of upsetting your fan base. And often you're getting these producers, actors, directors saying, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Star Wars growing up, and I'll put my own twist on it, and not the smartest idea.
Yeah, it's very
but yes, I mean, right now it's like, especially with the show, you want to have episode 1, episode 2, give us a premise and characters we like and understand. What is the point of the show? Okay, it's 100 years before Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. So what are we establishing? Well, so far we established in 2 episodes that a fire happened and one young girl wants revenge against the Jedi. That's all we know. But what's the overall point of this show? What's the arc? What do we have? And just because in Star Wars you had episodes 4, 5, and 6, the Empire won. Luke has redeemed his father and win the day. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, it's the Jedi, but the rise of Palpatine and the fall of the Jedi, and then the birth of Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. What's going to be the premise of the show? What are we doing? It's like it's this is 100 years before we get to Palpatine and Vader. But what's the arc then? It's just a simple 6 episodes of one girl wanting revenge. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, look, there might be an amazing twist coming of we might find out that these 4 Jedi actually maybe they were practicing Sith shit. Maybe they were do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We might find out that there's we might find out that there's a big thing behind all this.
Yeah, which could be like just an episode. That's we've often said to a lot of shows. Sometimes it's hard to judge a show based on 2 episodes versus the entire series, and that's been a problem a lot of times with certain shows. Certain shows have to have the binge model because you can reflect on a show. Right now, we're still not sure. At the end of the series, we could say, okay, maybe this was a pretty good plot design, like whatever the overall arc is going to be. Right now, we have no idea.
Can I ask everyone in chat to the children to stop fighting, please? And just be polite and nice to each other. I get that not everybody agrees or either likes or dislikes the show, but can we just keep it jovial and peaceful, please? Thank you. Don't have to keep deleting people's comments.
I definitely say, like, at this point, like, I wouldn't say I'm pure apathetic or you are, Lance, or like a lot of people, because people still like Star Wars. We still like this brand. I'd say I didn't see
it's yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, like, I'm not like, some people out there, other channels, people on Twitter, they totally hate every second of this. I don't walk into this because in a sense, we're not paying for it. It's like, but we're paying for this with our time. I'm still spending 2 hours of my life watching this show. I could be doing better things. I want it to be good. I think it has ideas that could work. I mean, at some point, I want to believe Star Wars could be saved. I just don't know, like, it's especially now it's June. Now it's like, it's all we're talking about is all the interviews and actors and producers. They're talking about everything but the storyline. And that's also the issue. Like, what's the story about? Well, we'll get to that later. What we have is, diversity check boxes and quotas. I want to hear about the characters. I want to hear about the arcs. Like, what's the Force users? I want to hear about the universe before Darth Vader. I've not seen a single interview talking about what this show is about. It's talking about everything behind the scenes, and that's the problem too with a lot of people.
Well, I think these 4 Jedi are going to have turned out to have committed a crime. So none of them are, well, anyway, I won't say that. Chat will just get upset. But
I mean, maybe the Jedi have a dark secret. Maybe some of these Jedi.
I think that they did something which was unintentional, which resulted in the death of these girls' parents.
Yeah.
One of the things the show has going for it, which unfortunately it hasn't really fully committed to, is I think it would have been far more interesting if the entire show was told from the perspective of May. We weren't getting the Jedi Council meetings and the bald lady with the green head who I've already forgotten about her. Tony K, director of American History X, is in the chat. Thanks for dropping by, Tony. Much appreciated.
You're right, though, Lance, because imagine having the Jedi. This is 100 years before the Jedi Council. Well, our current Jedi Council, we know Mace Windu and Yoda and everybody. But what if the Jedi did something horrible and they had to cover it up because they have to keep the reputation of the Jedi for being peaceful, being, there's no
Yeah,
wars.
if that's the plot line, I think that's quite good. I think that's a great story. The idea of the Jedi kind of maybe they've committed a crime or they did something that they've had to cover up. I think that's a great story idea.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been much more interesting if it was all being told from the perspective of May, and it's like the whole show is from the point of view of the bad guy. That would be great. That we've never had before. That would be very original. Probably a bit too risky, I think.
Yeah, because it feels like what people have seen so far with Disney Star Wars is that we kind of see what's going to happen. It's going to be somehow May is killing people for revenge and she's going down a dark path, but somehow or another, her sister's going to redeem her, and we're still not sure who this mysterious figure is going to be, which, we'll find out. But
yeah,
it's, so far Disney has a big problem with like making their villains. We're still going through this trope of these sympathetic villains, like, feel bad for the bad guy, or maybe they're just not a bad guy. Some villains are just like Vader. Well, I mean, Vader was still evil, but has reasons. But Palpatine was just a maniac. Palpatine didn't need a prequel backstory. Palpatine just wanted to rule the universe. That's it. I don't need to hear how, feel bad for Palpatine. No, the guy's a monster. He's killing billions of innocent people.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, we've got quite a few new people in the chat tonight, which is interesting, I suppose, because everybody's talking about Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, also, so they're saying it's first Star Wars show to be shot in the Brecon Beacons, right? Which is in Wales. You've got some amazing views there. So could you put up?
Sure.
Now I can't remember if this is at the beginning of episode 2 or if it's the beginning of episode 1. It's when, yeah. There you are. Yeah, stop there. That's good. Okay. Right now, that shot, and also the one prior to this, which is the reverse of this, looking the other way.
10 seconds behind, like this.
Thank you. That to me is like, I mean, it's fine, but it looked so naff. When I watched it, it was just like, oh, okay. She stepped in front of a green screen, and that's what we've got. And it didn't feel like she was really there. Now, I don't know what it could be that's a plate shot. The foreground does look a bit like the terrain of Wales. They've grabbed some plate shots of some mountains, which they've stuck in the background. And then, they've built up a landscape with that. Okay, but when you shoot in front of green screen and you're going to have an environment like that behind you, like, for example, that place will probably be quite windy because she's quite high up.
Yeah.
But there's no wind because she's not in a real location. There's no...
Yeah,
is there a little bit of wind? Tiny bit.
She's breathing. Yeah, that's debatable.
Little bit of wind. Okay, but it just felt so fake to me. I just thought, really?
I'll give them a little bit of credit. The whole Jedi robes. The Jedi robes do look nice, and the costume designs look good.
The costumes are okay. The costumes are fine. There's some nice little details in the kind of the cantinas and the bars. There's always some creature doing something strange, like cleaning a table, or there's some kind of robot bog brush wandering about cleaning something. So there are the little details like that make it feel quite Star Warsy, but Star Wars always felt like the worlds were lived in. They felt real to some degree. Here, I just feel like she's just walked onto a set, and then the next shot, same thing. By the way, there's another Lego figure right there.
Yeah,
it's this little cloaked figure that she talks to. There's a Lego figure of that coming up. I'm telling you now. I mean, her costume's cool. This gate thing, that roof section. I guarantee you that doesn't even that's not even there. So this would be in a studio. If it's not in the Rotunda thing, whatever it's called, I guess not, because that's not in Wales. This would just be on a green screen with this set just put on it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is actually a built prop. It might be, but I don't think so. I don't think it's actually there. And then you've got various Lego figures here waiting to be added to the latest Star Wars collection. And I believe it or not, I wasn't kind of watching this like looking for. There you go. There's going to be a Lego figure of that. Trust me. I wasn't watching this like trying to find fault with it. Actually, I was just like, when I watched it this morning and last night, I just wanted to kind of relax and like, yeah, great. I get to go back to the Star Wars universe, you know, which is it's a thrill for a Star Wars fan to be able to do that. So, yeah, Tony, I really liked Rogue One. I would agree with you that most stuff after has been pretty disappointing. So
yeah, it seems to be, at least on our corners of the internet, that Rogue One seems to be just universally the highest rated or regarded Star Wars since Disney took over.
Yeah. This is my favorite poster for the Acolyte, actually. I prefer this one.
Yeah.
Looks like it was that looks like it was actually shot in, I mean, that sun's probably not even there, but that looks like it was shot in Wales.
Well, it's like, even, you know, Lance, I reviewed Ahsoka, and like I thought Ray Stevenson is just an excellent actor. He's my favorite part of that show. Did I totally hate Ahsoka? No, but like I'm just watching it like, man, you had Rosario Dawson, you got Ray Stevenson, you could have done a lot with this, man. And that's how I just feel so far. These 2 episodes, like I didn't totally hate it. I'm just watching like, just boy, you guys could have, you know, give me more. And also with these episodes, we're having like what you know, like 10 minutes of credits too. Which is that they're not long.
Well, indeed, yeah. I didn't stay to watch the 10 minutes of credits. I have to say. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these two a little bit. Just get this shot up. So we've got space whales. By the way, Tony, if you're still in the chat, I would still love to get you on for an interview, mate. You don't have to go on camera if you don't want, but if you're up for it, it'd be great to get you on. I do appreciate that your time working on American History X, probably not the favorite moment of your life to look back and reflect on, but I don't know if you watched our show about it, but it was the first DVD I ever owned in my DVD collection. Because when I went to buy my DVD player, they had a whole load of DVDs on the shelf, and they said you can take 2 to have it to have with it.
His name is Yord, Yord.
The guy on the left, yeah. Okay, so I'll come on to him in a sec. Yeah. Anyway, I picked out American History X. And then I spent ages deciding on the second one, and the second one was Dead Poets Society. So both amazing films. Yeah, these 2 characters at the minute are kind of very kind of perfunctory. They're so. The acting is okay. They don't get to do a lot, which is fine because they're not the focus of the show. They are supporting characters. That's fine. But oh man, I don't know. It's like this is a still from the Wookiee planet, so this must be the next episode. This must be from episode 3.
Yeah, this scene is in the first episodes. I'm checking now.
Yeah. Leroy's got the hots for the. He's got the horn for the horny girl on the right there. Yeah, I don't know. I find the
a lot of acting feels
guy. I think I'm going to find him quite annoying as the show goes on.
They do. I mean, so like a lot of actors, and a lot of it does feel wooden. Something just doesn't. Something's not standing out. These characters were just not.
No.
just not caring about him. And even like that was a problem with say Ahsoka. It's just fan favorite, but Rosario Dawson, great actress, man, but she was not good in that show.
There's a dialogue scene between Osha and her master, Soul, right? Yeah, God, must have taken them ages to come up with that name.
So well,
and it's. I mean, I can't remember the exact lines. It'd be good to have the script in front of me because we could have some laughs with that. But
I'll look it up for you.
It's that scene where they're in the ship and they're talking about the time she left, and then they're talking about the sister, and the lines of dialogue are very kind of on the nose. It's very
that's episode 2. Okay.
Yes, indeed, Vulcan. Yeah, I think is it episode 2?
Yeah, I'm looking up because episode 1 basically they save her because she's about to fall off the cave, and then they push her or pull her back up. Yeah.
But the dialogue is just very kind of, well, you always knew they were the blah blah, and well, yes, but you're the blah blah, and I was watching that scene and I was going,
there you go.
This dialogue is terrible. Yeah, this is the scene. This scene.
I'll pause it.
It was a crazy night with some of my own. And also somebody at one point says, let's get some lunch. That's the first time lunch has ever been discussed in the Star Wars universe.
That was when he was training the Padawans for the Force.
Yeah, we don't normally have dialogue about lunch and dinner.
All right, kids.
Nor do we have dialogue about going to the toilet or, it's Star Wars. It's like we don't watch Star Wars to see people eat lunch. I mean, fortunately we don't see them eat lunch, but unless it's going to be alien things in glasses of water and Jabba consuming. But there was just dialogue here that was it was quite painful, this scene. And I thought, well, they're doing a pretty good job making something of it because it was just, the lines were awful. Yeah, man, I was really wincing. I was really wincing on this scene. So people in the chat, if you saw the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte, what would you score it thus far out of 10? Keep the language clean, please. No fighting. But yeah, I'd like to know what people think of it thus far out of 10. At the minute, for me, not going to score it yet because I want to talk about some other things. Another issue. The ending of both of these episodes are proper pants. So the ending of episode 1, just the way it's shot and the way it ends abruptly and cuts to titles, and there's no build of music. It's very poorly done. The ending of episode 2 with the Wookiee. Okay, it's a Wookiee. So what? There's a Wookiee.
But it's a Wookiee using the Force, Lance.
Well, it's a Wookiee. Okay, it's a Wookiee who uses the Force, but like,
there you go.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that was kind of cool, but I don't see that as being like a cut to credits moment.
Well, he breaks it too. Roar.
Well, yeah, but Wookiees break things because Wookiees have been known to do that. Damn, look how much of that running time is credits after this scene.
Yeah,
look at that. That's a lot of credits there.
All the beautiful credits, Lance. God.
Good God. Not to mention all the cut to credits in other countries. Toxic, I wouldn't waste time on this show if you threatened me with a lightsaber colonoscopy. Well, Toxic has threatened me with a lightsaber colonoscopy. He said it would be a pleasurable experience, but I didn't believe him.
Yeah, because episode 1, May looks at the bad guy with the red lightsaber, and she takes 2 steps and then cuts the credits.
Well, Leroy's quite pleased with it so far, and that's fine. If you're loving it so far, that's all good. Dan Candy's giving it, and I'm already done with it out of 10. I'll let you guys fill me in on how it ends. I mean, look, you know, I'm not here to bash Star Wars. I'm not here to bash Leslie Hyland. She's got her own Star Wars show. Good on her. That's most directors' dream of that day, you know. And I'm rooting for any director that gets that job. But I do think some guiding hands here would have been very useful. You know, like people sit down and they go through scripts, and you know, you have script editors and you have so on. But if you're, it all depends on what the work environment is like. And if you're surrounded by just a bunch of yes men, no one's going to tell you that you're doing anything wrong. No one's going to point out plot contrivances, major plot contrivances with your script. And it's just like, that was a big criticism of the Phantom Menace. Red Letter Media's quote, or I'll never forget it. It was like George Lucas turned in the first draft and no one thought to challenge him or point out any of the things with it that weren't really working. But yeah, the ending of both of them, I think, is very poor.
Yeah. Well, so in episode 2, like there some dialogue between Osha and her former master there was just, you know, him having regrets. Like I wanted to save you and your sister and I couldn't. And he goes, I regret that. And she's like, I wasn't the best student. And he goes, yeah, I could have been a better teacher. But also she's like, you taught me how to let stuff go, because that is one aspect I did like, that they mentioned that she was brought into the Jedi Order very late, which is also kind of copying off Anakin though, because like you're 8 years old, you were too old. Funny how Anakin was basically 8 years old and too old. So
I mean, I'll give you this example, right? This ending here. This is the ending of the first episode. There's a line of dialogue that goes with this scene to do with something to do with her mission of attacking the first Jedi, to do it without weapons or whatever. I forget the line.
He said an acolyte kills is like on steel or laser or no threat to them.
Yeah.
And he says, hold up here, but an acolyte kills without a weapon. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But and then it just sort of cut to credits, and it was like, there was a lot. I think it would have been better if she had one line, and he had just said, "Good," and then lightsaber comes on.
Oh, he says an acolyte kills the dream, and that's it. Cut to credits.
Yeah, something like that.
So we kill dreams. That's what acolytes are killing. The dreams of Jedi.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. We shall see where it goes. Yeah, we're talking about, I don't know if we're talking about the Paul Giamatti, John Adams miniseries.
God, it's been done
slightly
so
off
much.
topic, just to point out. But reach out to your people. I'll see what can be done. Well, Tony, we're in touch on Facebook, I believe, already. So, but if you're up for it, just let me know. I'll work around your availability. So, Blue Collar's doing the rounds. He must have seen you on the Critical Drinkers channel. I'm guessing.
Can't help it.
Yeah. So, we've both been on there.
Well, it's fun having discussions with you, man. Because I am getting kind of burnt out of shouting matches and just arguing, just the same talking points.
I'm always trying to, like, as Tony will tell you, making films is difficult. Making a TV show is difficult. You know, getting an alarm call for 4 o'clock in the morning when you haven't been able to sleep until 2 because your head is racing with, did I get what I wanted to shoot today? You're already worrying about what you're shooting the next day. You might have had an argument with that actor or that production manager or that producer, and that stressed you out, and you're not eating properly, and etc., etc., etc. No, this is the real Tony K, Dan, in the chat. It is, these things are difficult. These things are they are challenging, So, you know, I work in the industry, so I have that slightly different perspective on it all. So I'm never keen to just come in and bash stuff. But if you go back to, if you look at shows in the past that have got very good quality writing, films and so on, there's a reason that those scripts are good. There's a reason that those shows are good. And lots of people worked on those shows of differing levels of experience. But I think, like I said, I think Guiding Hands here would have been helpful. I think, I don't know how fast this was rushed into production. I don't know how much time was spent on these scripts. These scripts feel rushed to me.
Yes.
And it all starts with the script. And the biggest issue here is the script. We haven't even talked about, by the way, the fire in space.
I was wondering, wait, you want to get to that?
It's a minor thing. It's not one of the big problems with the show. But, I mean, like, Star Wars lore has established when ships explode, you get that little poof of flame.
Yeah.
And then it's out because it's space. But in this episode, there is a fire in space on the outside of the ship, which they have to go to repair.
I'll pull it up for you in a second.
I mean, it's a fire in space. There would be no fire in space. It's not like it's like electronic cables that are damaged, or it's a system that are damaged and we can see like electric lights. This is a fire. I'll say it again, in space.
I got the shot for you.
Yeah, get the shot up. And
well, also, what makes it funny is there's also like crack.
It's definitely up there with the Belgian chimney sins.
Well, even too with the sound effects, there's crackling too, almost like it's a campfire.
Right. So just for anyone who hasn't seen The Acolyte, this is a scene in outer space. She's climbing on the side of the ship, and you've also got steam coming off it as well. There's the fire. Now, I know she's kind of having a moment where she's reflecting to an actual fire.
But hearing the crackling, sometimes it's on a stream, but hearing the crackling of a fire, like it's like you're outside, have marshmallows.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that the crackling could be her hearing it in her head.
Maybe.
But when she first gets there, the fire is really there. You know, it's just, come on, man. Why not have a fire inside the ship? That could have happened.
Yeah.
It's also a bigger threat. What do we think about this Pip boy that's been ripped off of Fallout? And it's even called Pip.
You called him Pip? Sure, why not? It's a cute little droid. You know, we know what this is. This is going to be marketed, if they got any fans left, to like.
Oh yeah,
the five kids buying
merchandising thing that might sell 20.
Lord Talk's right though. I've seen a couple of threads about that. The fire in space, like you said though, they show different scenes in like the prequels and Star Wars. It's one thing when you see a ship crashing to the ground, another ship, a quick explosion. Like you said, sometimes an air vent might go up, but this is like an ongoing fire sitting here for like 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, it's it goes on for quite a while. Whoa!
Oh Jesus! Damn, Dan.
How do I get a refund on a $99 super chat? Damn, Dan, man, thanks. That's I'm proper chuffed when people send me super chats, and I won't lie, I'm really struggling financially at the minute. I looked in my account the other day, and there's like $700 in it, you know, and it's like, and you've got, you know, 2,000 rent coming up in however many days' time, and bills and other things. Like, how am I going to eat, you know?
Yeah.
So thanks, Dan. That's
Dan.
Proper chuffed. So Leroy, step up, man. See if you can best that.
I pulled up because you mentioned Crouching Tiger again. Just when Carrie Ann Moss is fighting,
it's only don't feel obliged, by the way.
Like you said, this is, you know, I understand fight scenes with actors, but like, yeah, this is not Star Wars. Guys, look at this. Come on.
Yeah, that I mean, that's No, buddy, I'm the same, buddy. I'm only teasing you. Don't send super
Like,
chats.
if this wasn't a Star Wars show, I might be okay with that, but that's like watching Kill Bill Volume 1 right there.
It's Kill Bill Volume 1. It's also Crouching Tiger, Hidden Jabber. These skill sets are just not really of the Star Wars universe. We see people do jumps, sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, okay, I guess I can buy it. This is Jedi at the height of their power. They can do pretty cool things. They have pretty cool, amazing skill sets.
Well, it's like you said, it's one
But
thing,
it
but
does take you out of it a bit.
well, because it's like the way the choreography is, though. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars. It feels like a martial arts movie. And
Yeah.
it's like I said, I'm fine with Jedi's doing things, especially 100 years before. You could say Jedi's are even stronger because maybe by the Yoda version and Mace Windu, they've gotten weaker over time. That's why Palpatine got so powerful for. So maybe they're doing things now that are better, but that doesn't seem Star Wars. It seems like we're watching some like Hong Kong 70s movie.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, if you buy into Jedi fight this way and do this kind of shit,
Yeah.
then it's fine. But if you don't buy into that, if you play it at half speed, that's how it was filmed. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. And welcome to the channel, Aaron. I've not seen you in chat before, buddy. So if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you very much for your support. I have an unidentified Force user.
Yeah, which is, yeah. I mean, again, maybe it's 100 years because I just don't see, at least in the Jedis, we're used to saying terms like that. Unidentified Force user, like,
yeah. It's funny. I said that this stream was going to be really short, and I can see we're only going to.
Even like when
we're only going to be on for 15 minutes. We're already at an hour 12.
If you watch episode 1 of Phantom Menace, when they first meet Anakin, Qui-Gon never uses the term to the whole council. You never heard the term once in Anakin's this big anomaly. You never heard unidentified Force user in all of Phantom Menace.
I don't think you hear the term unidentified Force user ever prior to this, do you?
Nope. I mean, that part, again, it's just those are little tidbits. Like when she was saving civilians, that's something Jedis would do.
Yeah, so no, that was all cool. I kind of
like with the knife scene.
I like the way she got taken out. It's a bit like she was Superman's weakest.
Yeah, because she was stopping the knife that May threw at the bartender.
Yeah,
she stops it, and it's like, so it shows Jedis saving civilians, which they would be doing. So that's why that's why I didn't totally hate the show, but I say I loved it neither. But it was cool seeing Jedis help people.
I didn't hate this show. I don't hate the show. I just feel that the show has got, again, it's just I just feel that Star Wars as an IP is being handled a bit too recklessly, and I feel that the kind of flaws that the show has, and that I've mentioned the 2 plot contrivances. The droid prison ship is utter bollocks. At the very least, the Jedi would have been on the ship. That's nonsense. He just says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't escort them." He doesn't give a reason why he didn't do that. Was he called away on an urgent meeting? Was he getting a massage on planet Xyla? What was happening? What was more urgent? What was more urgent than bringing back the most wanted criminal in the universe at that time that the Jedi were after? What was more urgent than that?
Especially considering Carrie-Anne Moss' character, she's supposed to be a Jedi Master, which means she's even higher than a Knight. So it's
we murdered her. It's a big thing, and you've caught the main suspect, and you're not escorting them home.
Send some droids to pick her up. It's not a big deal.
Nonsense plot error. That for me is probably one of the biggest, and of course there's the other one that I mentioned, but that's probably the biggest glaring plot hole.
That was my biggest issue with Obi-Wan fighting Vader. He finally beat Anakin. Yes. Okay, I've got Vader dead to rights. I'm going to walk away and leave him to just repair himself and go destroy half the galaxy again.
Well, let's not get into that. That show doesn't exist in my head. So have you got anything else you want to say about it?
Predictions, Lance. I want to see, because this is becoming a new trope now, how many characters in this show are going to get stabbed, like impaled with the lightsaber and just shrug it off? Because apparently that's a new thing. We've seen it with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka characters getting just impaled and pulling out, no problem, it's just a lightsaber.
Yeah, that for me,
if that happens during this season, I swear to
well, if that happens, then this show is, then this show is utter rubbish.
Yeah.
That for me, that killed Ahsoka. And that was on the first episode, I think, first or second episode.
No, first episode of Ahsoka. Yeah.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi was not a good show, Leroy. I like Obi-Wan Kenobi as a character.
I watched that show so drunk, Lance. I'm like, I'm drunk in this show. Oh God.
I can get into reasons why that show wasn't good.
Yeah.
Predominantly the fact that Obi-Wan and Vader met would be the biggest problem that show had. And the fact that he went back to the planet and anyway, it's a whole.
Yeah, it's a tangent.
The fact that he went and confronted Vader, it was just nonsense.
I guess we'll keep. I'll have fun doing this with you. But what are your predictions? My prediction is going to be someone's going to get impaled, and also at some point, May's going to be a sympathetic villain, and somehow we're going to have to they're going to try to redeem May's character.
I think May's going to turn out to have some justification for doing what she's doing, but obviously the bad guys fueling on the hate. I think the bad guy is going to be the bad guy potentially, the Sith person. I think potentially is going to be Darth Maul.
This would be before he's born, right?
I think it could be a descendant of Darth Maul or Darth Maul's race.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how old Darth Maul was. Don't forget, Yoda was super old. We don't know how old Darth Maul was.
Oh yeah, that's also my prediction. I guarantee. I will bet my kids' college fund that Yoda. We're going to see Yoda at some point. There's no way they're not going to do it.
Definitely going to see Yoda.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see Yoda. I think most of the Jedi in the show, I think all four Jedi will get killed. I think the last of them won't get killed until the final.
Also, like I said, I can't confirm it, but just something about the way I just can't see a simple dagger. It could be wrong, but the way Carrie almost dies, it just felt too quick and convenient. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think we're gonna see her again. Well,
in theory, if a lightsaber going through your stomach shouldn't kill you, then a tiny cut for a blade, you should be fine. No, I don't know. I think she probably is dead, but we might. Don't forget, we're going to see flashbacks. We're going to see what these four Jedi did. We're going to. They've committed some kind of crime. It might not have been an intentional crime, but they did something. They did it badly, and they had to. Each of them were kind of atoning for their sins. That's why that guy was in that perpetual state of meditation.
And he does voluntarily drink that poison too.
Yeah, so he's carrying. So the only way that scene works is if he's carrying such a huge guilty conscience that he was willing to take it because he felt he deserved to die. So I think that there is going to be this reveal that they've somehow done something wrong in the past. I think the fire's going to have been either partly or entirely their fault. Therefore, the death of the parents actually was their fault. It might have been vanity of the Jedi that covered it up because, like you say, they didn't want all of that stuff. Other predictions. Don't think we're going to see much in the way of blaster fights in this show. We've seen 2 stun shots to date in 2 episodes. That's it.
Yeah, because we don't have stormtroopers.
No, we don't have stormtroopers. Yeah. People will have blasters.
Yeah.
Osha fired the stun gun twice at her sister, I think deliberately missing.
She did on purpose. You can tell.
Yeah. But I don't think we're going to get blaster fights, which it might be quite nice to have some blaster fights with people that are just sort of regular people. That could be fun, but and then also seeing the Jedi dealing with that.
Yeah.
But I think the Sith Lord, this Sith person is somehow going to connect to something in the Star Wars lore. So whoever they turn out to look like, it could be, because we know that the counselor in the prequels,
because Palpatine's definitely like in his almost 70s, and he
right?
did say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Palpatine had a
well,
master.
we know he's older than that in
Yeah,
the original timeline, because
yeah.
the way he presents himself in the
Actually, I can look it right now.
in the council chamber as the counselor, and the way he is as the Sith are two completely different ages. And the
Wow.
Sith Lord that he is when he turns all Sith and he's all evil is way older.
Well,
So
according
it
to
might be that this is a young Palpatine. It might be him. It might be him. It might be a young Darth Maul, or it might be a Darth Maul type of race. Maybe they're connected to.
well,
You know,
they're saying in episode 3 when he becomes the Emperor, he's 65, so he wouldn't be alive. But remember, he did have a master that trained him.
Right, that's true.
So Palpatine 60, he could have had a master that was. This could be the young days of was it Darth Plagueis? Remember, because he tells Anakin the whole Darth Plagueis the Wise, and his apprentice killed him in his sleep, which Palpatine killed his master, which did the whole the Sith rule of 2. You might see maybe this Palpatine's his master's origins.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Jodie Fee Turner's character. This is all a bit Black Panther in terms of the design, but she looks cool though. She does look cool. She looks cool. I like the look of this lady as well. It seems like they're all like different races. You've got like one of the Ahsoka types at the back here. So interested to see who these people turn out to be.
Yeah.
I don't think they're Jedi. I think they're going to be some kind of like tribe that maybe lives on the same planet as the Wookiee.
Yeah.
So try our new Carrie-Ann Moss Isley milk, now in Yoda flavor. That does sound quite tasty.
Yeah. But I am curious to Lance if we are going to hear the term Sith, because that was a big part of the prequel trilogies, that the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. So to the Jedi Council,
okay,
that's
interesting.
Yeah, so like the term Sith by these Jedi should not be used, because that was the whole big problem with when he first met Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan's telling Qui-Gon like, yeah, the Sith have been like extinct. So what's going on?
Oh, could be interesting. All right. Yeah. So what's your score so far for these 2 episodes? We've had an 8 out of 10 in the chat. We've had some 0s out of 10, with I think mainly from people that haven't watched it.
I wouldn't say it's 0. It's damn sure not an 8. I mean, I said I didn't hate it, Lance. I like a little bit of it. I mean, I'll be generous with like a 3. I mean, just because I did like some of the fight choreography, I did like some of the aspects where Jedi shouldn't be out for revenge.
I'm not going to rate it that low.
No, I'm going 3.
I'm going to go with 5 out of 10 at the moment.
Okay.
There are some things I like about it, but it's got some massive problems, especially the writing. The writing is average at best.
Yeah.
I mean, the scripts, if you look at the credits of the show, because I think are we in for 10 episodes?
I'm not sure. I'll look up for it.
But if you look at the credits of the show, 8 episodes.
Okay. So 6 more.
The writing credits are that, I mean, obviously Leslie Headland has eyes on everything. The staff writer is Jasmine Flawney. Now, writing credits wise, she's been a writer's PA and a writer's assistant, which is a good foundation to be on a writing team. I would agree, absolutely. But she's not written any scripts. So so she's written, these are 2 of her first scripts. And she's a staff writer, so I'm assuming she's kind of overseeing the writing team a little bit. So her debut of these two scripts. I don't know which two. I don't think she did one or two, episodes 1 and 2. Kor Adana, which sounds like the name of a character in Star Wars, is a writer producer. Writing credits: he has 2 episodes of Mr. Robot, 1 episode of The Imperfects, and a story by credit. 6 episodes of Time for Passion. Don't know that. Mr. Robot has got some very good quality writing. That to me would be someone who's ready to write an episode of this show, because they've got enough to say okay. Shaman the Great, very glamorous, is a writer. She's done 10 episodes of House of Dragon.
Wow.
5 episodes of Manhunt. She was also she was producer on that. My apologies. But she has written, she's written 10 episodes of House of Dragon. That'd be season 1. She's written 44 episodes, either written or executive story editor or story editor of the 100. I liked the 100. I thought that was a good show.
I watched the first 2 seasons, and I got to finish at some point.
Yeah, it lost its way a little bit, but on the whole, it was very Beverly Hills 90210. But
yeah,
I actually quite enjoyed it. Yeah, Aaron saying Shaman the Great. Leroy saying wow. I've no idea what to, but
yeah,
possibly the ratings.
That's what we said. I'm just kidding. I was we're all fun. We're joking. We're jabbing.
Yeah. So so Shaman is very qualified to, and she's written 2 episodes. We have Jocelyn Boyer, and by the way, I'm not saying people shouldn't be given chances in the industry to do their thing, do their breakout thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. Every actor and producer was nobody sometime.
No, absolutely, but you want experienced hands. So I mean, I think Shaman probably should have been the overall, with the credit she's got and the experience she's got, she probably should have been the overall story writer. So Jocelyn Bio has written 1 episode, and she's got credits on The Merry Wives, Tiny Beautiful Things. She's Got to Have It, 1 episode. Okay, Russian Doll, 1 episode, which is where she would have met Leslie Headland, I assume. Then we have Claire Keachel, who's done 1 episode. Jen Richards has done 1 episode. Eileen Shim's done 1 episode, and Cameron Squires. Now, that's more than 8 people, and I saw that episode 2 already had 2 writers on it. And I just get a feeling that this writer's room is a case of too many cooks. 9 episodes of WandaVision, 14 episodes of Final Space. Oh, this is story editor and staff writer, story editor. So Cameron Squires, mainly story editor, moving into writing. I mean, that's perfectly fine. That's a good transition into that role. Eileen Shim has done 1 episode of House of Dragon, and story editor and written by a staff writer on a show called Light as a Feather, 26 episodes. 2 episodes of The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Or sorry, one episode of The Acolyte. And we've got Jen Richards. She's got 5 writing credits. Short film, 1 episode for a TV show, and creative consultant, her story writer, 6 episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mixed bag of talent, but
So fun.
you've got to ask the question: is a Star Wars IP a place for newbie writers? I would say no. I mean, by all means, have 1 or 2 on the team, but you've got to have introduce the Lance Saber.
Oh,
the
whip saber. Yeah, that's part of it. You haven't watched some kind of promos. There's been a promo about that.
So there's about 10 people in that writer's room. About 10 people. More heads don't always make light work, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so well, our ratings on the show are pretty low at the moment, but I'm prepared to be impressed and increase them.
I mean, you're a fair person, I think, and I try being as well. If I see one episode's 10 out of 10, I'll call it out. If I'm
Yeah.
I'm the one person on Twitter saying like a 10 out of 10, so be it. But no, I don't want every episode to be bad. I'm not impressed so far. But like you said, that could change. It could be, it takes one good episode to change your opinion. Or
I think the strongest thing going for the show is the setting. It's way before any of the other IPs in the universe.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of freedom there to do some interesting things.
I agree.
But I think, like I said, a story entirely from the bad guy's perspective could have been really good. But I don't think people would have. There probably would have been a strong argument for, well, Star Wars is about good versus evil. How can we do a story from the point of view of evil? Well, it depends how that story ends. And I mean, you can make it so that this is the story from the point of view of evil, and this is why evil doesn't ultimately triumph, because I think that they have to fail ultimately. But hey, we'll see. Episode 3 will change our opinion.
I won't get into it because we'll wait.
For the better or worse?
Well, we'll get
have you seen it, Aaron? Have you seen episode 3? Tell us before we go. So Blue, while I dash to the bathroom real quick, why don't you tell us what you've got coming up?
Let's see. Tomorrow, our buddy, his name is Jay, everybody calls him the Gooch, where he does this channel called Diabolical Souls. And anybody, I've been wanting for the longest time period to watch this anime, which is like the biggest anime on earth. It's called Demon Slayer. We're going to review episodes 1 through 14 because, anime, they're like 15, 16-minute episodes. And we're just going to do a basic discussion about the first 14 episodes of Demon Slayer, which during the whole lockdown and the virus, Demon Slayer did like $1 billion. It's the biggest anime IP like almost ever. And I always wanted to watch it. All my friends, my sister, my nephew, they all watch it. My kid watches it. And so it's on Netflix, Hulu, anywhere you want to watch anime. I watched it once, the first 14. I'll probably watch again tonight for the preparation for tomorrow's stream. Also, myself and my cousin, a couple days ago, we binged all 10 episodes of House of the Dragon in preparation for season 2 coming out. I got the first 4 episodes done. I'm editing and I'm trying to get a review out as fast as possible. We watch episode 1, 5-minute breakdown, episode 2, 5-minute breakdown, because we don't have time to do a 1-2 hour stream per episode. So I made a 1 hour video. Now it's just the hard part of like adding in footage from HBO. But we had a great time.
I'm going to binge this next week. I've got it. I bought the Blu-ray box set. I liked it so much. And the trailer for season 2 looks good, man.
The whole joke with Lance was me buying. I bought this whole thing of vodka and just downed it. This is water now because I had to rinse it out. But I think a whole liter of vodka and watched a whole season of House of Dragon with vodka and pizza.
I worry about you, man.
She had a bottle of wine too. But it's good. It's good having somebody who's a book nerd like Lord Toxic, loves to read your books. You read books. My cousin, she loves House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, except for the last 2 seasons. But
Aaron, you haven't clarified for us whether you've heard it's good or bad. So, but you're saying it'll change our opinion. Our opinion is kind of, well, it's off to a shaky start, but let's see. But I just don't know which way you're going. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we are back tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. So that's 2 p.m. East Coast. Earlier. Oh, very bad. Okay. Oh dear. All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe we won't agree. Maybe we'll think it's amazing. Anyway, we're back tomorrow, 7 p.m. on with the Inside Man. We're talking to Simon Lewis about his book, The Making of A Bridge Too Far, which I was hoping to show you with a physical copy of it, because my physical copy of it should have arrived today. What I got instead of the physical copy of the book was an email from Amazon that basically said, your order has been cancelled. Thanks for that, Amazon. Yeah, they just due to shortage of stock. I pre-ordered this book in like February. You know, I pre-ordered it months ago. How can you not have a book for me? This is nonsense. So kind of annoyed about that. So we got that. I got that tomorrow, 6th of June, D-Day. It's a bridge too far we're doing, but so the connection is very tenuous. Then we are not doing any streams on the weekend until Sunday, where we're doing episode 5 of Band of Brothers. You'll be back on for that, of course. And talking about episode 5 replacements.
If anybody gets a chance this weekend, Lance, they're doing it the 4K re-released extended versions of all 3 Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. I've already got them though.
I mean, we'll see it in theaters.
You know, I see.
Because they haven't put them out in 4K in theaters. They're I guess 4K remastered extended editions, and heck yeah.
Yeah, there was a 4K extended all 3 of them together. These are some of the behind the scenes stills of Band of Brothers that you're going to get to see. These are from episode 4 that we showed on our stream the other week. So by all means, do join us on Sunday. We're going to be showing you all kinds of cool stuff like that. All the kind of stuff that went on in the background. You know, the sets and the sets being constructed, all of that stuff, and what it was like to be on the set. Here you go. This is the Noonan town that was built especially for Band of Brothers. If you haven't seen our last episode about it, check it out. It's really good, and it was got a lot of views already. I think we're nearly at 1,000 views on that. So more behind the scenes stuff this Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. East Coast, 1 p.m. West Coast. I'm hoping to get Nicky Marshall on in June as well. I've also got Adrian Sherlock coming on the channel. And in fact, I've got a book of his right here. He writes a lot of guidebooks to classic British science fiction shows. Here's the Tomorrow People book by him and his lovely wife. There you go. So just goes to show, you never know who you're talking to in the chat, eh? So we've had Adrian, had Tony K on in the chat today as well. Fantastic. So that's it from us. It just remains for us to say
Oh, damn. See, I had one here.